Hello, everybody. This is Terry with your partial solar eclipse in Aries coming in, crossing over that Chiron wounded warrior healer, and how many of you could use this little energy clearing today. I hope you can see my pendulum. Whew. Let's all just take a collective deep breath as we continue this healing crisis that we've been in really since last April 2024, when we had that Aries, was it Aries lunar eclipse, I believe, on exact conjunction with Chiron, the wounded warrior healer. And now we return to the scene of our wounding to come back and check the bandages and see if that wound has healed. And we just entered Aries season with that spring equinox. And this is the zodiac new year. In the zodiac 12 houses, as you see on any astrology chart, you'll see that Aries is the first house. And this is where we begin again in Aries. This is the seed planting moon of all the moons. This is where we can really start something new with our intentions, though I am reluctant to really start anything with Venus and Mercury retrograde right now. I'm just going to plant these mystical, magical seed intentions. I'm surely not going to plant any seeds in my garden where I live in the Pacific Northwest because we've been having snow all week. And in the 9 star key astrology, I just released my March 9 star key astrology. This is the Japanese Eastern astrology. This March, we are in that one water star, water being the element of the seed that is germinating, the seed underground, under snow. And so we travel through this deeply emotional water season in March. And I just feel like I really want to invoke that water energy. I've been wearing a lot more blue, the color of water. And usually, as we get into this Aries equinox and this Aries, we're going into this Aries eclipse this month, I usually would be craving red, but I guess the 9 star key astrology is influencing me more because I am really feeling like I just want to be in the watercolors, and I've been doing some swimming and doing the current and cold plunging and drinking lots of water and taking luxurious CBD salt baths, and I just want to be immersed in the energy of water. It's interesting. But in April, we will move into the fire element, the 9 fire element. Well, we will emerge into the light, and I think I'll probably be wanting to wear more reds and fire colors next month. But if you haven't already, check out that 9 star key for March because it's interesting. That whole germination process that involves the kidney chi, and a lot of us could be feeling pretty exhausted right now and reluctant to start anything with Venus, Mercury retrograde. And so just maybe plant a seed of intention, not an actual seed. Maybe don't actually start something. This would not be a good time to launch something in an eclipse portal with these retrogrades. And right now, you can just plant that seed of intention. If you have an intention for something you want to call in, leave it in the comments and I will send you distance Reiki energy. I love to do this. This is what I do every new moon. This is a new moon, Aries new moon. We just plant our seeds of intention. Maybe you want to write it in a journal or however you like to do it. Maybe you want to plant a seed indoors this new moon. And then this seed of intention will become into fruition on the Aries full moon happening October 7th. So we got to wait for that whole growth cycle to happen. That seed is underground, under snow, and then it's got to push forward through the heavy soil and then begin its growth process. And when you plant a seed right now, it's just this natural rhythm of the seasons, this manifesting with the moon. You don't plant a seed and then look for fruit or flowers the very next day, right? You got to wait for this process that takes time. But you plant that seed of intention on this Aries new moon in this powerful eclipse portal that wants you to make a big change, that wants you to call in a new direction. And then that seed will germinate and push forth and grow. And October 7th, you will suddenly go, oh my gosh, my life has completely transformed because I planted this seed of intention. And let me know your seed of intention in the comments. Like I said, I will send you distance Reiki for that whole growth cycle, to support that whole growth cycle. So in October 7th, when this new moon in Aries becomes that full moon in Aries this fall, you will have what you are calling in. And this is a manifesting moon. This is a manifesting moon. We're going to get to the Sabian symbol related to this eclipse, and it's really has some powerful manifesting magic. So stay tuned for that. Um, and then also, if you are trying to call something in right now, you might want to listen to my recent Reiki infused sound healing with subliminals. I did this on that 222, that February 22nd energy portal. I just really felt that I was just being a conduit for this incredible energy that was pouring through me, pouring through my hands as we recorded this lucky frequency sound recording with Reiki. And then I threw in some subliminal messages, and there's just some kind of magic to it. I was only the conduit for the energy that came through, but I know that this recording in particular has been bringing so many miracles to some of my clients. One of my clients just got pregnant after 7 years of trying. She listened to that recording for about 10 days and she's pregnant now against all odds. And another client who does sales, she sells yachts in Seattle, and she has not sold a single yacht since 2020, since the pandemic. And her boss said, you have like 3 more months until I'm going to fire you if you don't sell a yacht. She sells luxury yachts. So it's a little tricky to sell luxury yachts in this hard economy. But she listened to the recording and she sold 5 luxury yachts in 1 week. And she was blown away. Her boss was so happy. She's definitely keeping her job. She got a big bonus. I just have been hearing all these miracle stories. So if you've listened to it and you have a miracle story, please share with me and share with others. Just put it in the comments because I love to hear these stories. And this just goes along really well with the manifesting power of this new moon, when the sun and moon in Aries come together in a partial solar eclipse. Partial solar eclipse, it's not so intense. It's not going to knock your socks off. And we can't really see it where I live, but if you can see it where you live, I wouldn't be afraid to watch this one. Like I was saying, I wouldn't watch the blood moon, but I will watch a solar eclipse and it's not that scary. And the sun and moon in Aries will cross over that 22 degrees of Aries, where the asteroid Chiron is, that wounded warrior healer. I've done so much about Chiron. I've got a really strong Chiron and Aries myself, so I love talking about Chiron. I might just put some more videos about past videos if you want to learn more about Chiron, the centaur, who was abandoned by his mother, who kind of freaked out when her son was born with horse legs, as any mother would. And Chiron became an orphan, but then he was adopted. And it's just a beautiful story about how Chiron became this wounded warrior healer. And now he's at that 20 degrees of Aries. I'm going to read the Sabian symbol in just a minute, and it's amazing. And he will be there during this eclipse. And then the North Node of Destiny is still at that 27 degrees of Pisces, nearly conjunct Neptune. Neptune in Pisces hanging out for a while in that critical 29 degrees, signifying the end of your old, all too familiar path and the potential for this brand new, challenging, yet rewarding experience. Maybe you're starting a new job, maybe you're starting a new career, maybe you're starting a new love relationship. Something is coming into fruition in this eclipse portal. We're in that birth canal. You can see all the planets. I'm going to pull up the chart here in a minute and show you that all the planets are between Pisces and Aries. Pisces 12th house, something is ending. There's something we need to release, even if it's just releasing fear so that you can move forward on your big dreams. And Pisces is the endings, where Aries is that brand new beginning, the new path that is opening up, the new way forward. So what did you release on that powerful blood moon lunar eclipse that we just had in Pisces, so that you could start out on a fresh new way forward this spring? And this eclipse portal, it's going to affect us for like 6 months, really paying attention to your chart. Where is Pisces? Where is Aries? Where's Virgo? Where's Libra? Those are all the planets involved in this birth canal that we are in, where something's ending and something new has not yet begun. And we're sort of in this liminal space, this in between time that is so magical. It's so juicy for creating something new. It's a very creative energy that we're soaking in. And let me know if you did have some kind of release at that blood moon eclipse, because a lot of us, I know for myself, I'm just wanting to purge. I'm just wanting to get rid of some really old books, some old clothes, worn out relationships, just old things that aren't serving me anymore. And this is a releasing lunar eclipse time, going into this eclipse portal and then bringing in this our partial solar eclipse. We are wanting to call in something new, but it's almost like we can't call in something new until we release that old, maybe it's just old limiting beliefs or sabotaging behaviors that you have, bad habits. So let me know what you are trying to release, and I will send Reiki to that too. I've been doing a lot of Reiki and a lot of space clearings too. A lot of people are wanting to clear their space this spring. This is a great time for some deep spring cleaning to just clear out the old. And that Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde in Aries, they're going to travel all the way back to see what that North Node in Pisces is plotting. So if you have North Node in Pisces, check your chart. Anyone with North Node in Pisces or North Node in Virgo, congratulations. This is your nodal return. And destiny is calling. You better answer your phone. Something major is coming. If you have Pisces or Virgo North Node, this is your time for spiritual boot camp. You are being called on a mission, and Spirit is telling you, you got to do the thing. And Spirit will lead, but you got to listen, and you got to pick up the call when Spirit calls, because this is really big time for Pisces North Nodes going into the next year. And there's just a lot of divine energy with all the Schumann resonance and the solar storms we're having that is really quickening the pace right now. It's igniting these fresh starts and brand spanking new, bold moves, new directions. But it's just kind of, the energy is kind of coming in fast and furious. Are you feeling all this energy and this desire to birth something new as we are? It's like we're all collectively a woman in labor, birthing in something new, but it's so unknown to us right now. And so we're just in that state of the labor pains of trying to create something new, but we're not sure what we're doing just yet. And last April 2024, if you remember, I might pull up my video from last year. I'm kind of curious to see what was going on then too, because we had that total eclipse in Aries in exact conjunction to Chiron, the wounded warrior healer. And now we're just returning to Chiron once again in this eclipse, which is really wrapping up. We're wrapping up that whole lunar and solar eclipses that we had on the Aries Libra axis. I wrote all about this last year. I did videos about Aries is like me, mine, my needs, what I am going to create. And Libra is about how you get along in your relationships, what you do for your partner, how you make sacrifices for your partner. You know, the relationships, as Libra is the scales that balances that whole work life balance. So we're really kind of looking at all that stuff. What did we learn from a whole year of working on that first house, Aries, seventh house relationship? We were on that Aries Libra axis all year. And as we return and we just see how will we make it different this go around on this partial eclipse as we revisit that old wound with the Chiron. And we're just checking to see, did the scar heal? And where is Aries at 22 degrees in your chart? Get out your chart. Look, this is what I've been looking at for everyone when I'm doing these eclipse portal readings right now. I'm checking in on where's your Chiron at Aries 22 degrees, because that is where you will find this eclipse wound, this wounding that may still need your healing attention. So you're going to want to get out your healing salve and put it on that scar. And there's so much more to heal on this new moon. I've been really working with dragon's blood lately. I got this little, I don't know if you can see it, dragon's blood. Oh, it's more red on the other side. This is a dragon's blood jasper. And this is so healing. And dragon's blood is, I'm just so drawn. And I have my dragon's blood incense too. And I even found on Herb Farm, they make a dragon's blood tincture. So I've been taking dragon's blood tincture internally and doing the incense and then doing this beautiful little dragon's blood. I love these little like thumb stones. And it just reminds me to channel my energy and my time appropriately to get things done so that I can really hyper focus on what is most vital use of my time and energy right now. And it's really just teaching me about how immensely powerful beings we are when we are really focused and we're paying attention and using this one precious life to call in exactly what we want to manifest by getting really clear about it and then sending our Reiki energy. Even if you don't do Reiki, you're sending energy to what it is you want to manifest and kind of tuning out all the static. You're just dialing in that radio. So you're just getting the music you want to hear and hyper focusing on the reality you want to create. And that is what this dragon's wood is really, or dragon's blood. I keep calling it dragon's wood. It's dragon's blood. I'll put a link if you're interested into this because I really believe this is a manifesting stone, and I've just been manifesting like crazy lately beyond my expectations. I feel like I'm energetically rising to this higher level with the dragon's blood. And I just can't get enough of it. If you know anything about it, if you have worked with this medicine, let me know in the comments what your insights are, because this is a new thing for me. It's just really the medicine of this eclipse portal for me. And we also have, as I spoke about, Venus and Mercury, both retrograde this eclipse, asking us to focus on our own healing and our own vulnerability and what do we need to support our process. So it's really just a time to take time out to look at where your wounds are and what is the divine lesson that your pain is trying to teach you right now based on wherever Aries 22 degrees is. And this placement, this Chiron, do you know where Chiron is in your chart? A lot of us that are Gen X, we are all Chiron and Aries people, the wounded warrior healers. I think it's funny, people born in the 80s had a lot of piercings, and they say that piercing is kind of a self-wounding that represents Chiron and Aries. Chiron is exalted in Aries. But wherever Chiron shows up in your chart is where you need to personally heal, and it can really influence how you heal. And this Chiron placement can highlight a need to explore and heal emotional wounds related to love and self-worth and your relationships. And in this healing process, we can really gain empathy and compassion for others who may be hurt or rejected. This is a time to come together in support groups or come out for our health fair. We're having this health fair with the Bend Health Guide on Saturday, May 10th. And you can meet so many incredible healers. If you happen to live in Bend, Oregon, I'm going to give away free tickets. I think I'm going to make a promo code, Kamimi, and I'll put a link down below. I'm going to give you guys free tickets if you want to come, because everybody needs to be healed in this eclipse year, I tell you. And it's just a way to meet so many incredible healers who can help you on your path to deep healing. And Chiron is all about this gathering of healers. Chiron, born a centaur, half man, half horse, and then he had his mother abandon him for it, as I was saying. Can be a eclipse. This partial solar eclipse can really be a time when we're coming to grips with our own personal flaws, our scars, what makes you different, your vulnerabilities that make us truly unique and beautiful, but perhaps there can be shame involved. And sometimes our deepest wounds lead us to our most profound healing gifts. So wherever you need to just see what is your deepest wound, and then where is the gift? There's always a gift within the wound. And Chiron was abandoned. That was his deepest wound. But then he became this enlightened, wounded warrior healer. So a lot of times healers come from this background of dealing with a lot of pain, rejection, and lack of self-worth, and then they heal themselves, and then they can heal others. Healer, heal thyself. That is the mantra. So there is just a deep desire for this healing connection on this eclipse. And we may even want to make peace with anyone who has hurt us in the past. Just knowing that was part of our process, that was some kind of lesson that we came here, we signed up for, we signed the contract that said, I'll come and learn that. And so maybe that person who hurt you in the past could be a parent, a spouse, a friend, a teacher, a child. Somebody may have hurt you, and there's just this deep desire on this eclipse to heal those misunderstandings in perceptions. And it's all about our forgiveness and compassion of these interpersonal relationships where there is this, wounding. We wound others, they wound us. That just sort of happens in relationships. And healing, forgiving ourselves too, forgiving ourselves for any pain that we've caused ourselves around our self-worth. And this calls for a real self-evaluation. Get out your journal to accept your part in the conflict, to accept your part in causing pain, and to try to repair any damage we may have caused others, or even any damage we have self-inflicted damage that we have caused ourselves. And so our relationships will survive this Chiron wounded warrior adversity that we're all going to be soaking in on this eclipse. We can survive this through communication, forgiveness, compassion, and just collectively trying to find some kind of meaning in this healing discord that we are collectively going to be feeling on this partial eclipse. And we will all be just feeling all the feels, all our wounds coming up. And so there's a heightened sensitivity to the ways that other people are hurting us right now and how we may be hurting others too. Hurt people, as they say. And I love, love, love how Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body that comes from past trauma. Raise your hand if you know about the pain body. That's all that past trauma that gets stored up in our system so that we're so easily triggered when someone does something similar to someone doing something in our past. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's a past relationship or old partner. We have this stored up trauma that I can tell you lives in the body. I see it on the daily when I'm doing massage and Reiki sessions. Clients have a lot of pain stored in their bodies. And this stored up pain body trauma can become activated repeatedly, causing these patterns of negativity that shows up in our world as anger, anxiety, depression, or perhaps deep-seated resentments towards your family, friends, or old partners. Whew, it's heavy stuff, right? So you can dissolve this pain body. Just take a bath and you'll dissolve it. Now, I wish it was that easy. But the first step to dissolving your pain body, all those old wounds and old triggers, is just having an awareness that it's even happening, that you're reacting from a place of pain. And then you try to release those old patterns of behavior. Maybe you want to write it on a piece of paper and do a fire ceremony and just releasing it. And then it's like if you ever get defensive when someone tries to give you advice. What is that about? Where does that come from? Or even just telling yourself, oh gosh, I must be reacting from my pain body right now. And then you give yourself that meta moment that, let me just take a deep breath. I'm reacting from my pain body right now. And then you take a time out. You take a meta moment before you react. This is a beautiful thing. And this eclipse portal, you want to find that inner stillness. Connect with your inner child who may have some secrets to tell you about where this pain body came from. And just let yourself have time and space to know what is going on. If you start feeling issues, there's issues in the tissues, we like to say in massage. If you're feeling physical symptoms, it could be an emotional issue. And you can just breathe into it and ask your body, what do you need from me right now to heal these issues in the tissues? And just let yourself know it's okay. We're safe. And then try to respond out of a sense of deep compassion. knowing that if a person has triggered you, they may have their own painful past that is creating their kind of pain body reaction too. And then you can just get in a cycle of I'll hurt your pain body, you hurt my pain body, and I'll hurt your pain body back. And let's break that cycle. Let's break that cycle with compassion, forgiveness, and just taking that meta moment to take a breath before you react. And that is how you dissolve that pain body, and getting massage and Reiki and coming out to the health fair and getting healing. We're going to have hands-on healing at our health fair. Get yourself some healing this eclipse cycle. And someone has to stop these pain body cycles, or it will just be two people reacting out of their pain bodies in a constant loop of hurting each other. And just be the bigger person this eclipse. Just allow their words to simply pass by without reaction. As you self-soothe yourself, maybe you do some self-Reiki, maybe you just listen to that lucky frequency and get yourself on a higher vibration. And then later on, you can respond out of compassion once you've done your heal thyself healing. And then you can just think of Mel Robbins, who says, just let them. If somebody's doing something awful, just let them. Don't let it take your day. And just don't take it personally anymore. Don't let it add to that pain body. Just let it be their thing and just let them. And I just had a whole incident as I was thinking about this for this recording. I had a whole incident with my neighbor because her dog got into our backyard and attacked my chickens, and I had to protect them. And my Aries Libra axis, where this partial eclipse is in my third house of neighbors. So go figure. And I had Mercury and Venus conjunct my Chiron in Aries this week, which is like trying to make meaning out of potential wounds. That's Mercury. And then Venus is like, stay in your heart space, no matter what happens, no matter the wounding. And that's what an eclipse astrology chart reading looks like. I was going to pull up the chart, but I'm just kind of enjoying talking to you. So I'm not going to pull up the chart today. But I have this Aries eclipse opposite my Libra in the third house of neighbors, bringing opposition with neighbors. And lo and behold, my neighbor's dog comes busting into my backyard. He knocked over the fence and flew into my backyard and just started attacking my poor chickens, poor innocent chickens who were just happily grazing on spring greens. But my chickens weren't hurt, thankfully, but they all ran off, and two of them took off into the streets. I had to go fetch them with my other neighbor. But I might have to put that neighbor in a freezer bag because I made this whole other video about how to get rid of bad neighbors. Let me know if you watched it. And I have this one house next door to me that has had 4 different bad neighbors. We just keep getting bad neighbor after bad neighbor in this one house. And I live in a court where we all get along so well. One of my other neighbors who was looking for my chicken, he said, we're like family. And if you lost a chicken, we just lost a family member. And I was like, oh my God, you're so sweet. But there's just this one house in our court that just always seems to attract negative people. Have you ever had a bad neighbor like that? And we we have this repetitive cycle of negative people with bad dogs. Every person who has lived in that house has had bad dogs too. And that house needs a serious space clearing. But it's not my house, so I feel weird doing it. But I think I might need to go clear that house. And so I created this video about how you can get rid of bad neighbors with the simple freezer bag technique. And we even used it to get rid of a bad bully at my son's school who was bullying all the kids. And it works with the reticular brain. It's not witchcraft. It's really psychology. I have a psychology degree, and this is the reticular brain in action. You can program your brain to make changes in your neighborhood. Can you believe this? And you imagine they're gone using this freezer bag technique, and it always works miracles. So if there's someone in your life that you need to go away to get rid of, you freeze them out with a freezer bag. I'll link this video down below because it's pretty amazing. But anyways, so all that happened. That is my eclipse portal right there on the Aries neighbors, right? And so I've been trying to assert my energetic boundaries in a compassionate way, forgiving their pain body and, trying to keep taking those meta moments so I don't lose my temper. And then the very next morning, who shows up in my yard? A skunk. A beautiful skunk, though. This beautiful young spring skunk, all cheerful, is in my front yard eating my spring pak choi that I have growing in my greenhouse. And she's eating all the little green grasses that are just starting to grow because of spring in my raised garden. And this skunk is just the cutest little fellow. I am not weirded out at all about. I'm not going to go touch it because I don't want to get sprayed. But this skunk is here to teach me how to peacefully create energetic boundaries by having people respect your personal power by simply staying in your power, right? The skunk doesn't have to rarely use its spray because we're all afraid of the skunk, right? We all have respect for that mighty skunk who doesn't really have to do anything, but simply let people know I've got this power within me that is a threat if you cross my boundary. And most of us have never even been sprayed by a skunk. I've never been sprayed by a skunk. Luckily, my animals have never been sprayed by a skunk. But we all know to take a step back, to have energetic boundaries. When we see that skunk, we know the power that they possess. And so I just thought that was so interesting. If you start looking for these little signs, these little messengers who show up in your yard, just nibbling on your pak choi, these are divine messengers. So pay attention to the messengers and what animals are showing up for you and what lessons do they have to give you. And the other thing that's giving us lessons on this new moon, partial solar eclipse. I keep wanting to say lunar because the last month, our last couple of weeks, but this partial solar eclipse in Aries, let's look at the Sabian symbol, which includes a crystal gazer. I had to get my little crystal ball out. You can see my ring light shining in it. And this new moon, moon and sun, both at Aries, 9 degrees, is a crystal gazer, the development of an inner realization of organic wholeness. The crystal spear represents wholeness. Within the spear, images take form. Have you ever gazed inside of a crystal ball? You can sometimes see things like I always feel like I see the night sky. These images may reveal future events, showing us the situation as a whole. What is really going on? Look into your crystal ball and see. The clairvoyant is meant to interpret meanings all around, and the collective cultural incentives act as a centralizing and whole-making superpower. What the mind perceives in concentration is the function of every impulse and outer events to hold divine meaning. Just like that skunk had a divine message. Start looking at the outer events to find the divine meanings. What is spirit trying to tell you? What is showing up and what does it mean when we focus on it with concentrated attention? And that is what this dragon's wood Dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is bringing me. The dragon's blood is bringing me the hyper focus to pay attention to the crystal ball in my outer world and try to figure out what is going on. What is the lesson? What do I need to heal? And when I think about what do we all need to heal, I want to look at Chiron, 22 degrees, where the sun and moon will travel across Chiron. This eclipse isn't an exact conjunction like last April it was, but this eclipse is moving into the sun and moon will cross Chiron shortly after, right? And so that Chiron at 22 degrees, where Chiron's hanging out during this eclipse, is the gate to the garden. Oh, I need a gate on my front garden. Maybe it's a sign. I need to put a gate around my front yard. But I would still like to invite the skunk in because the skunk is cool. But the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. Step into the garden that fulfills your desires. That's beautiful. It's so spring. And the keynote is abundance made possible by collective togetherness, coming together in cooperation. This is a symbol of wide open, effortless fulfillment. Do you ever just effortlessly manifest something? You just believe it's coming and it happens. I've been doing that lately. Alone, a human being can barely survive in nature's great life drama. But when people come together in an organized way, organized groups to form a community, we can collectively fulfill our desires. The abundant life, in theory, is open to all. But the abundant life is at least the idea, the great dream, but it can be limited when we go alone. This symbol can also be referring to the sacred, sensual, divine, feminine energy that you can call on to support you at this time. And the goal is happiness. This dominates our collective consciousness, glamorizing it into an avid cosmic optimism and creates a cult of success. That is so interesting. I am really excited to enter the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires on this this new moon. How about you? So this is a manifesting moon. I love this Sabian symbol. We can manifest together in this kind of collective community, and that's what I love to do when I bring people together for the health fair. It's about collective community healing and manifesting. And I just want an infinity pool myself. What is your greatest desire? If you walked into this garden of all fulfilled desires, I almost want to do a recording about that. And it's like a meditation. You're walking into the gates of the garden are open. They say, come on in. What do you want to grow here? What's that seed of intention going to grow in your garden of fulfilled desires? Leave it in the comment, your greatest desire this new moon. What seeds are you planting in the garden of all fulfilled desires? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. And next time, it won't be an eclipse portal anymore. It'll just be a regular old full moon. Won't that be exciting? Take care.